affairs and social reconciliation. Edmond Obilo on state affairs for local and international politics, security, extensive economic analysis,
control the political structures, or encourage the formation of a new leadership team.
Be a global citizen and join the radio revolution on state affairs. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo. Radio just got deeper. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
Yes, welcome to this edition of State Affairs. It's Chief Mike Omoleye. Chief Mike Omoleye is a veteran journalist and author. He worked with the Morning Post, Sunday Post, and Sketch newspapers before establishing his own weekly newspaper, The Sunday Glory, in the 1980s. He is a member of the Society of Inner Light, making him a Kabbalist. Kabbalah is an esoteric method, discipline, being integral to Judaism, Christianity, or Occultist adaptations. At a symposium, the paper is the subject of this discourse. You can say it, Awo as I know him. A paper written by Mike Omoleye. I have read this. It is a classic piece of literature, full of depth on humanity and spirituality. In this case, Chief Omoleye, it's good to have you on State Affairs.
Thank you very much, Edmund.
Are you still a Kabbalist?
I'm a Kabbalist, and when I die, I've said to Malkut, you know how God created the world, the term you use, and you study it, and initiating people into these pigeonholes so that you can experience them and have the
knowledge system.
It is very deep knowledge. There are books from the ones brought to the Western world by this woman. I think it's an American or Indian.
How is it connected to Christianity?
It is the foundation of Christianity. Is it the foundation of Christianity before? Because when you talk of Jesus, you can get on the Kabbalah.
So it goes beyond the Bible of the moment.
It goes beyond the Bible.
But it does not go against the Bible.
It doesn't go against it.
It doesn't go against Judaism.
Judaism is the religion of the Jews, and somewhere it's not secret.
So what are the secret aspects of Kabbalah?
The secret aspect of Kabbalah is that you cannot discuss with somebody who knows nothing about that Kabbalah.
So it means you cannot discuss it with me?
I cannot discuss it with you. I can bring it down to earthly life to some extent, but going deeper, I will not be able to discuss it with you because you won't understand.
Why do you think I won't understand?
It's the language and the meaning.
What language do you refer to?
The meaning of the meaning. Because people were telling me that that book makes... I didn't bother so much because it was written in Jewish language. But I read the Psalms in that book.
Yes. Was a spiritualist.
Yes.
He was a member of the Rosicrucian order.
Yes, Rosicrucian. You see what is in...
Yes, Chief Omoleye. Yeah. Awo was a member of the Rosicrucian order.
Yes.
And you make the point.
You have them. Yes.
And the Rosicrucian order was the one Awolowo chose to belong to.
Yes.
How did you know he was a member of the Rosicrucian order?
Well, some of these things, you just come across them in different ways. I couldn't remember now, actually, how I met him.
You know, this work here is Awu, as I know him.
Yes.
When was the first time you met Obafemi Awolowo?
The first time I met him, I cannot remember now. I can't remember.
You can't remember. Tell me.
Well, where our lectures interact, and from there we can discuss.
Let's go into this work.
Yeah.
You said, who is a divine spark?
Everybody is a divine spark. But an avatar is an incarnated divine spark.
You said, a divine spark, for your information, is of various degrees in their levels of spiritual development.
Yes.
The divine spark of Chief Awolowo.
What I mean is that it's somebody who has come to the world several times without you knowing, but only himself knowing.
Sparks who are referred to as the salt of the world.
Salt of the world, yes.
And the gem of heaven.
Yes.
Chief Omoleye, explain.
What I mean there is, somebody who has incarnations.
You wrote a dialogue here, a conversation between God and divine spark. God is speaking now. He says, divine spark, speak. So divine spark speaks. My lad, I volunteer to go to the word and work on your behalf, introduce new things, make life comfortable for the masses, and transform the country into an organized society which you shall be proud of. Did you create this conversation on your own?
No, comes law.
So this was the conversation between God and Awolowo.
Yes.
Before he was born.
Yes, and I could transfer myself back to that period, and somebody like you, who can go back, you say a word without them, then there must be a word in the past, in front of you.
In the conversation between the divine spark, Awolowo, and God, Awo says, my Lord, it is not going to be my first experience. I mean, Awo had come before. So when he came before, he came as what?
He came, I don't know what name he had. He has come before that time, this time.
And this time he's coming again.
Again.
And Awo says to God, one thing I ask of thee is to ensoul my etheric body and make it impenetrable. Can you explain that?
Penetrable. When you want to kill people, you penetrate the body, the etheric body. We have etheric body on this level now. Then if it is impenetrable, you cannot do him anything.
Right?
Yeah.
And Oduduwa speaks. Wherever he goes in life, there I shall be with him. He is going to assist me in my unfinished business. Whoever shall be his enemy shall be my enemy. The four corners of the word shall not produce any harmony in such enemies, and they shall always end up in ruins. He shall have a wife who will be like a mother to him. This Oduduwa, speaking of Awolowo. And after this, Awolowo was born in 1909.
Yes.
Look at this line.
Yeah.
Can we relate this to what happened between Awolowo and Ladoke Akintola?
I don't know much anything about Ladoke.
You know, Ladoke was killed in the first military coup.
Yes. I don't know anything about him.
But remember, he became
Probably.
Awolowo. You were a journalist during that time,
Yes.
in the 1960s,
Yes.
when that struggle
Yes.
between Awolowo and Akintola started. At that time, were you already a Kabbalist?
I was. I started since 1962.
Now, why that fight in the Western region was taking place? What did you see as a journalist?
Well, fighting for positions and earthly things. You know, you brought one book written by one boy here. I don't know whether he is. I phoned you way after the program as a commission on the Pepsi or Coca-Cola that the wife of Shiva wanted. That was part of it. Yes, that was part of it. Fight for position, fight for money.
Was there any spiritual battle between both sides at that time?
There was. We just assumed that there was.
Why do you assume?
Says you won't have it. I will say yes. First of all, you know, he tried so many occupations when he was young, and almost every occupation failed. There was a time they sold his property, his family, sold his house, his car, and everything. Auction of your property, and at a certain age of your life.
He said at some point he wanted to understand the word. So he began to read books on deep religion, books that took him out of this world.
Yes.
Can I say he joined the Rosicrucian order for protection or for knowledge?
For both.
For both. Remember, he was already a divine spark before
Yes.
he was born.
Yes.
So he was born a divine spark.
Yes.
And he had the backing of Oduduwa.
Yes. Before you can get assistance from other entities.
So when you say personal protection, what does that mean?
Well,
Somebody wants to kill me to be impenetrable, right? Somebody wants to kill me from the spiritual realm. It will be impenetrable.
that is your etheric body. Once it is impossible to penetrate it, you cannot be killed.
You said the four bodies of man are as follows.
Yes.
The spiritual,
Yes.
the mental,
Yes.
the astral
Yes.
or etheric,
And then the physical.
and then the physical.
Yes.
Then you go on. So there were satanic temptations that Awolowo saw.
Yes.
He was sent to prison.
Yes. And the way his property was auctioned when he was young. That's a tribulation.
You said, for your information, Chief Obafemi Awolowo had achieved that contact. So he recognizes what his assignment on earth is.
Yes.
For the spiritual body to make any appreciable impact on its environment, the mental body must be developed. Body has is stored up in the mental body.
Yes.
How do I develop my mental body?
Well, by reading, by studying, and by acquiring knowledge from everywhere you want.
So,
I feel it.
in what ways?
Yes.
Who was Awo? When you sit down with him, what kind of aura was around him?
Well, he has a very good aura. Has a very good aura.
Look at this. I'm analyzing your work. If Chief Awolowo was a spiritualist of no mean caliber, sent on a mission to earth, why was Chief Omoleye deeply concerned about his safety? Why am I raising this question? In this lecture,
Yes.
you warned of the danger of a Holocaust that may precede the 1983 elections. The consciousness of Nigeria in the astral plane. There are some questions I want to ask from here.
Good, and that is the answer to your question.
I'm still not clear. Are there politicians in Nigeria tampering with the consciousness of this country from the astral plane?
There are.
What is happening in Nigeria today, can it be connected? Is the astral plane?
It is a bit higher than Earth.
Is that where native doctors operate? Babalawos?
Well, they do operate there because they use, I operate there for my own good.
And some people operate there for evil purposes?
Oh, yes.
So, for good people like you, can you counter them?
To a certain extent, have a group of people who can...
Forces of evil and forces
good,
of darkness.
Of God, of good.
So Nigeria's problem can also be spiritual.
You cannot make anything. NEPA will not work well. You cannot get water except you dig your own borehole. The roads are bad. Look at the whole place. There is confusion everywhere. This is not how a country should be run. We are just managing it. We can't run to any other country because look at people who have run outside the country to go and live in other countries. I don't know how you can bring them back.
Cannot react. Is it because they have manipulated the consciousness of the people in the spiritual realm?
Am I going to be doing that?
Has
To too much pleasure.
Did Awolowo expose himself to pleasure?
No, to the best of my knowledge, he didn't.
What do you mean by pleasure?
Pleasure is something, everything, yes.
Was that why Awolowo was different?
He was able to discipline himself in such a way that everybody knows he does a clean way. He goes a clean way.
Judaism and politics and power. It's a 3-chapter work. And you can get this work on udarabooks.com. You will enjoy reading it. It is deep. Chapter 3 of the work is entitled "Of Nigeria as Observed by Chief Obafemi Awolowo in 1958. It's a press conference, a long press conference. Here, Awolowo predicted the future. Get this work on udarabooks.com, and you will find Udara on WhatsApp under this post, and get your copy of this work of research. Chief Mike Omoleye is my guest. So you can pause. Chief Mike, why do you think he did not succeed?
Yes. You can see it at the last chapter of Hours I Know Him, which was his press conference. 2 years looking ahead of Nigeria before independence. were not friendly with him. In their action, when I saw a leader of Nigeria, I just take the Yoruba nation out of Nigeria.
Take Yoruba nation.
Yeah.
You are quoting Awo. So Awo says, I do conscientiously hold the view.
Yes.
Awo continues, he is expected to love his ethnic group, national or ethnic groups in Nigeria. So Awo is saying you must first be a Yoruba man
Yes.
before being a Nigerian.
Yes.
And Chief Omoleye is saying that if he were Awolowo, he would have taken Yoruba nation out of Nigeria.
Manipulated themselves in the planning and the execution of their plans for Nigeria.
But Awolowo could have also countered them, because you said Awo is a political strategist.
Yes, he is, but not with human beings who also think like you.
Did Awo fulfill his spirit?
It's not natural at all. I predicted it in our speech of revolution.
Have you seen this work? Awo Speaks of Revolution, written by Chief Mike Omoleye. Another classical countries of the world I have visited, and a bit of
experiencing. I think we shall continue like this. We may change, they may bring another different method of government that will make the...
If you had the opportunity,
what I will want is to allow the natural boundaries of God, our politics, to fit that boundaries.
So what are these natural boundaries?
River Niger, River Benue, East.
As an independent nation.
Yes. I want it.
But Awo, that you know, fought against the emergence of Biafra.
Oh yes, I know. I know that.
Do you think that was one of his errors?
Well, I would think so.
You would think so?
Yes. Yoruba nation. There were periods in the past during colonialism that the Europeans themselves wanted peace.
But again, he fought against Biafra as the Minister of Finance and the Vice to go on during the war.
At that time, the military...
I think that was one of his flaws.
Well, it was.
It was. Written by Moses Akim Makinde. Read this book. In this book unveils various aspects of acclaimed phenomenal acts. Much of what many, especially the younger generation, may never have known. This work he published Awo's 1950. You will find this book on udarabooks.com, or you can get it on WhatsApp. Contact the WhatsApp numbers pinned. Yes, of Africa's greatest country. You find the pictures of Obafemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Ahmadu Bello. These were the three men that defined the country before independence and after independence. You will find deep analysis of what happened before independence and after independence. Writings of Awo. We have volume of your country. You want to know where we are coming from? This is Volume Nigeria, as recorded by The Drum, the popular monthly magazine of those times. Okutiebo, remember Okutiebo was killed. Have you heard of Mbonu Ojike? Ladoke Akintola was chronicled here. Michael Okpara, Tafawa Balewa, Anthony Nahuru, and the larger-than-life trio of Obafemi Awolowo. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Ahmadu Bello, along with their many admirers. And you are now 84.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank God.
I must say congratulations.
Reading is very important to me. It has shaped my life and the life of my children and the family.
Reading opens the mind.
Oh yes. Without reading, you are a fool. You can read. I think it was the clerk of South Africa who said that if you want to hide any important information from a black man, go and keep it in a book. He will not read it, therefore he will not get the information.
Do you think
you are encouraging Nigerians to read every week? You are encouraging them. I hope one day you will
mentally poor?
Yes, I think so.
You think they don't read enough, like Obafemi?
To manipulate anything you see on your way towards your objective.
And that was what we saw in Awolowo coming up with free education.
Oh yes. Free housing, free. Those are some of the plans he had that I know. Free education, free health, and.
Do you miss him?
Oh, very well. Very well.
Yes.
He was never a human being.
But Awo also had that spirit.
And I don't know how God created the Dua before.
Is Awo the greatest son of Yoruba land?
He's the greatest of Africa, son of Africa. Minister said if Awolowo were given the opportunity to rule Britain and America, that he would succeed. That's a white man saying something of black man. Awolowo is a great man.
Chief Mike Omoleye, thank you for featuring on State Affairs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've been discussing its own weekly newspaper, The Sunday Glory, in the 1980s.